In a land forgotten by time, hidden beyond the last golden dunes and below the mist of the sleeping mountains, there was a world where dinosaurs still roamed free. This land was not marked on any map. It didn't echo with the rumble of cities or the hum of machines. It breathed with the rhythm of leaves, waterfalls, and wind. It was a place where dreams had roots, and the stars whispered secrets to those who listened. And in this land, nestled in a peaceful valley of fern-covered hills and glowing rivers, lived a small triceratops named Tiko. Tiko was no taller than a young tree stump and not much heavier than a boulder. He had a mossy green back, bright amber eyes, and 3 horns that were still growing, not sharp enough to scare anyone, but curved like crescent moons above his soft frill. Tiko was curious, thoughtful, and filled with a kind of wonder that never seemed to sleep. Every night, when most dinosaurs were snoring under the moonlight or curling beside steaming springs, Tiko would wander to his favorite hill and gaze at the sky. He believed the stars had voices. Not loud voices, quiet ones, like whispers from an old friend far away. He liked to imagine they were telling stories. "What are you saying tonight?" he'd murmur to the sky. "Is there something I should know?" His best friend, Vee, a quick-footed, speckle-feathered velociraptor, would always roll her eyes and laugh. "Tiko, you're such a dream dino. The stars aren't talking. You're just sleepy." But Tiko didn't mind. He liked dreaming. One evening, as the valley shimmered with the soft glow of fire flowers and the sky turned lavender, something extraordinary happened. A streak of blue light cut across the heavens. It wasn't a shooting star. It wasn't even a comet. It was brighter, faster, and it curved as though it were flying with intention, not falling. Tycho's mouth dropped open. The light arched downward and disappeared behind Mount Hollowhorn, a great sleeping volcano on the other side of the valley. A strange hush fell over the land. Even the chirps of moon crickets paused. Something had changed. The next morning, the sky was still, and the air felt thicker. Tiko awoke early and wandered to the whispering trees, a small grove where wise elders often gathered. There he found Bumba, the ancient brontosaurus, standing still with his long neck tilted to the sky. His skin looked like old bark, and moss clung to his knees like blankets. "You saw it too," Bumba rumbled without looking down. Tiko nodded. "What was it?" Bumba's voice was deep and slow, like a river that had been flowing forever. "A star's hard. It hasn't come in 1,000 years. It only appears when the balance of the valley is at risk." "Risk?" Tiko blinked. "What kind of risk?" Before Bumba could answer, a sharp cry came from the far edge of the grove. It was Sora, the pale blue pteranodon who often flew over the valley delivering messages with his squeaky voice and endless jokes. But he wasn't joking today. "There's fog," he said, landing awkwardly. "Black fog. Crawling from Hollowhorn's cracks." That same day, flowers stopped blooming. The rivers shimmered darkly. And the leaves of the giant heart trees, trees that pulsed softly with light, began to dim. The gloom had come. No one knew what the gloom truly was. It wasn't smoke. It wasn't just fog. It had a feeling. A weight. It whispered doubt into your ear when you were alone. It made fireflies forget how to glow and made even the bravest dinosaurs feel unsure of their steps. The Council of Elders met at once. They stood beneath the Celestine Arch, a natural stone bridge where echoes told the truth. Brontok, Tycho's father, who had once roared loud enough to shake trees, stood at the center. "We must protect the valley," he said. "We'll close the northern caves, reroute the herds, and guard the springs." But Bumba shook his massive head. "This isn't something we can fence in," he said. "This is ancient. It comes from imbalance. And the only way to restore harmony is to find the roar of the stars. Gasps echoed under the arch. But that's just a legend, cried an old ankylosaurus. No, said Bumba. It's real. A song buried deep beneath the valley. A roar not of anger, but of memory. If we find it, the gloom will fade. Brontok stepped forward. Then I'll go. No, Bumba said. The stars already chose. He turned his gaze to Tiko. The little triceratops froze. Me? He squeaked. Bumba nodded. You heard the sky. You're the only one who listens. Vee raced up. Then I'm coming too. Sora flapped down beside her. I can't let you two have all the fun. I have at least 5 jokes to try out on ancient monsters. Brontok looked at his son. He said nothing, but his eyes were full of both fear and pride. And so, with the whole valley watching, the 3 friends began their journey toward Hollowhorn. The path was steep and unfamiliar. Though Tiko had grown up in the valley, he had never crossed into the wild edge, the place beyond the safe woods, where lands changed faster than footsteps. Their first trial was the windy maze, a field of tall grass where wind moved like invisible rivers. The grass whispered confusing words. Left sounded like right. Forward felt like backward. But Tiko closed his eyes and let his heart lead. Slowly, gently, they found the rhythm. And the path opened like a bowing tree. Next came the Featherfall cliffs, sharp, narrow ledges with no ground below, only clouds. Sora flew overhead, calling instructions, while Vee clung with claws, and Tiko moved slowly, using his horns to anchor himself like a walking tripod. After 2 days, they reached Hollowhorn. It was no longer sleeping. Smoke curled from its peak. The ground vibrated gently, like a giant trying to breathe through thick blankets. The gloom was strongest here. Dark vines with thorns like glass curled from the cracks. Strange echoing noises came from below, low growls, soft clicks. And yet, in the center of the darkness, a small light shone. It was a pool. The sky pond. According to legend, this pool reflected not the world above it, but the world beneath. Tiko stepped forward. The surface shimmered. And then, a vision. A vast chamber, glowing with ancient starlight. Walls carved with roars. A crystal heart pulsing. And around it, 4 giant statues of dinosaurs, each with closed eyes. The roar of the stars wasn't a sound. It was a memory. A heartbeat. A connection. We have to go down, Tiko whispered. They followed a winding path into the volcano, deeper and deeper, past glowing stones, echoing drips, and swirling fog. Strange creatures watched from the shadows, half-formed things, made of mist and doubt. When they reached the chamber, just like the vision, they saw the Heartcrystal, dull and cracked. The statues stood like sleeping guardians. But something else was there. A shadow. It had no face. No claws. No tail. Just a shape, like a forgotten fear. I am the quiet, it said. The silence of those who gave up. I feed on lost roars. Vee stepped forward, claws raised. You won't stop us. But the quiet only laughed, a soundless laugh that rattled bones. Tiko stepped in front of the Heartcrystal. You're wrong, he said. The roars aren't gone. They're just waiting. He placed his forehead against the crystal. And breathed. Not loud. Not angry. Just steady. A memory of home, of fireflies. Of his father's lullaby roars. Of Vee's laughter. Of Sora's songs. of Bumba's mossy stories, of everything good and glowing. The crystal pulsed. The statues opened their eyes. And the quiet screamed. But not in pain. In release. Like it had wanted to be free all along. The gloom melted. The crystal glowed like a sunrise trapped in ice. Tycho's horns shimmered with soft light. He didn't roar. He hummed. And all of Roaravale heard it. Back in the valley, the rivers cleared. The fireflowers bloomed. The heart trees pulsed again. When Tiko, Vee, and Sora returned, they weren't met with cheers. They were met with silence. A peaceful, warm silence, the kind that follows the deepest joy. Brontok hugged his son with his giant horns wrapped around him. "You heard the stars," he whispered. Tycho smiled. And that night, as the fireflies danced and the stars twinkled brighter than ever, the young dinosaurs of Roaravale lay in their nests, eyes wide. And their parents said, once, a little triceratops listened to the sky, and found a roar that healed the world.